Hello. How is everybody doing? Hello, hello, hello. Just gonna find this on my phone. In case anyone joins me live, I'll be able to see you. Of course, can't find it. Anywho, can't find it on my phone. Um, Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here live. It's been a couple weeks, and a lot of you had answered my poll, and anxiety was a topic that most people wanted to hear about. So this is what we're going to talk about, is anxiety. Um, if you're here live, say hello on the chats. I'm just going to see once more if I can get this going. No. Okay. If you're here live, great. Sorry I can't see you. And if you're here on the replay, put hashtag replay. And I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway is and maybe why you wanted to hear about the topic of anxiety. That would be great and helpful. So anxiety it's a natural response to stress. And usually you have feelings of worry, nervousness, fear, like of a perceived threat or of a future event. And that is occasionally what will happen to most people. We have anxious moments, and this is absolutely natural, normal, human thing that happens. Having persistent, intense anxiety that's interfering with your daily life, this could be linked to different anxiety disorders. And if this is the case, I would highly recommend talking to your nurse practitioner or doctor, some form of professional about this, because everybody reacts differently to having different disorders, and it shows up a little bit different for folks. So what I'm going to be talking about today is just your regular anxiety that all of us human beings have from time to time. Sometimes it can be a little bit more often than others, and that makes sense for maybe the situation that might be happening in your life. So it could be situational anxiety. So I have some notes, so that's why I'll be looking down every so often. I don't want to miss out on saying certain things, and I'm wanting to make sure that I cover everything. So anxiety can look like many different things, but usually it's racing thoughts, restlessness, like a feeling like you're on edge. You can have heart palpitations or a very rapid heartbeat, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, like you're just not absorbing, you can't really get your thoughts together, and then you might have muscle tension or stomach upset. So these are all symptoms of anxiety. You can have all of them, or you could have one of them, you could have two of them. Everybody's different, but those are kind of the signs of it. Now, I think with this being just a natural kind of response that most human beings have, we can look at ways to kind of cope and work through anxiety and to lessen how often the anxious feelings, those symptoms, can take place in our lives. And this is also helpful. Again, I suggest you talk to a professional if you have an anxiety disorder, but this can help with any type of anxiety, the different things that I'm going to be talking about. So The first one is deep breathing. And when I say deep breathing, like breathe beyond just into your chest. That's where we all seem to be living in our breath. We're not taking deep belly breaths. And when we take a deep belly breath, you can actually feel your belly rising and going down because you're letting the oxygen go all the way down. And so to know that we're doing this, you can place your hands on your stomach while doing this. And also we're going to be counting. So you're going to inhale for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to hold it for 4 seconds. 3, 4. And then you're going to exhale for 6 seconds. So ultimately, with the deep belly breathing, you want your inhale to be shorter than your exhale. And so when your exhale is longer, it just kind of calms your whole central nervous system, and it's just good all around. Deep breathing for everything and anything, but it does help with anxiety. So if your mind is racing and your heart is beating, taking these deep breaths will calm your nervous system down and hopefully get you back to feeling regulated. Another thing that you can do, and these first 3 that I'm going to tell you about are grounding techniques, and grounding techniques ground you in this moment. This is all we have control over. This is all that's actually we're happening and experiencing. So most of the time anxiety is because we're worrying about a threat of what might happen in the future. We're not there. We're right here. And we have to remind ourselves where we are. So another really good one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what you're going to do is use your 5 senses. So number 5, you're going to look for 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And what that's doing is bringing you here into this moment. And sometimes you're going to have to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, and do it a few times, right? Just to get yourself calm enough from where you might have been in your thoughts racing. And you know, if you're in your home, it also makes you kind of like have to look around, because we kind of are used to seeing what's around us all the time, but like really see, okay, there's the drapes, I see the books on the shelf, I see, you know, so it's, you're really having to pay attention when you're looking. And then when you're listening, you know, it might be only one sound that is predominant, but if you're really listening, how can I hear 3 things? So it's distraction, but it's also getting you into this moment. Then there's a thing, it's called progressive muscle relaxation. Now you can go on YouTube and there's going to be a gazillion of them that you can listen to. A lot of people who find it hard to fall asleep or get to sleep because of the racing thoughts and all of those things, find that this is extremely helpful. And they can run from 5 minutes up to like a half an hour long, depending on how long you want to do this for. And what you're doing is usually starting from your toes and going all the way up the body to the top of your head. And what you're doing is contracting your toes and then releasing them. Contracting your toes and then releasing them. And it could be 1 time for each body part, or it could be 3 times, 5 times. It just depends on the recording of how the person did it. And what that is you're releasing tension, you're releasing the muscles, you're relaxing your body. Because sometimes, and I know for myself, I'm always tense and I don't even know I am until I like tense it and then release and go, oh, well, that's what relaxed feels like. So that's a really good one, progressive muscle relaxation. Then for like long-term effects, so if you're finding that you are living with anxious feelings a lot, like because you're worrying about stress and you're going through stressful times, um, exercise is an excellent thing to be doing. So physical activity reduces the stress hormones, and it releases those endorphins that we love, and so we feel better. Uh, what I love to push and tell everyone to do is mindfulness and meditation, or a mindfulness meditation. And that is exactly like we talked about the 5 4 3 2 1. You're in the moment, you're using your senses, you're being present. Or meditation is usually guided ones where it's taking you off to a relaxing space that you can imagine. Um, Always, if you can reduce caffeine and sugars, um, they just skyrocket anxiety big time. And so, if you're a coffee drinker, or like me, a green tea drinker, there's caffeine in this. And so, if I'm having an anxious day, boom, herbal tea. I need to go to my herbs. Um, Chamomile, anything that you find calming. And then a healthy sleep routine. If you're running on empty, everything seems bigger than it is. Everything, that overthinking about or worrying about the future or present situation, it's just it's going to seem heightened when you're on no sleep. So try to get your 7 to 9, between 7 to 9 hours. Then there's different ways of kind of cognitive tools, and this is and looking at your mindset. Journaling, so writing down your fears or worries to externalize them and gain clarity. So if you have all these thoughts and worries wrapped up in your head and they're just swirling, 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 you're never getting a break from them. They seem bigger than they are because it's only you talking to you in there. It's not a good thing to do. um, and so try to write it out. And this is one, it's releasing it from your mind, and two, you're seeing it differently, and you're going to hear it differently when you read it back to yourself. So this is helpful. Using positive self-talk. So if you're having anxious thoughts of like, I'm going to fail at that job interview tomorrow, remind yourself, like, I'm prepared. I've done the research on this company. I know what mainly they're probably going to be asking me about. I know who I am and what my skill set is, so I'm going to be able to answer those questions, and just kind of say the facts of the situation, not letting your thoughts and worries and fears take over. So you're kind of being aware of them, and then you're challenging them with the facts. And that's a bit of cognitive behavioral therapy as well. So you're challenging those negative thought patterns. Sorry, I have like a tickle in my throat. And then if you're finding that you're constantly anxious, and maybe you're going through a certain life, a certain thing in your life, and it's causing you anxiety, but it's not an anxiety disorder, it's situational, like maybe a divorce, or looking for work, or whatever it might be. There's different things that you can look at, more long-term strategies like support groups, so connecting with other folks that are in similar situations, so they're going to understand what you're going through. And then mindfulness practices, so such as doing yoga, like I talked about, the progressive muscle relaxation, doing that regularly every day. This is going to help you be mindful, be present, be in the moment more often. And when we do this, it is rewiring our brain so that it's quicker to get back to the present moment and not in the future, worrying about what's going to happen. Um, this is going to go wrong, that's going to go wrong, all the things that we worry about. So that is extremely helpful. Um, I'd love to hear. There's many different other things that work as well. Those were the main go-tos that I always use with clients, and for myself, I use most of those as well. Um, you know, I hope this was helpful. I hope this is what you were looking for when I just put out the topic of anxiety and you guys checked yes, you wanted to hear about it. I usually come from that practical kind of framework. I love to give people tools to choose, try on, see what works for them, and then this way, um, you know, you can try them out and find out, okay, I like this tool, add it to your toolbox for later. This one, not so much. Okay, don't need to keep that one. Um, so I hope this was helpful. Please let me know what your biggest takeaway was, or which tool that you use that I didn't even mention. That would be helpful as well. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week for the next live. Take care.